Walking into a model home is an intoxicating experience. The lighting is perfect, the furniture is flawless, and the property presents as a finished, shrink-wrapped product ready to be pulled off a retail shelf. Every home is a massive, decentralized project assembled out in the elements, relying on transient labor and dozens of subcontractors working through rain, heat, and supply shortages. When you walk into a pristine sales office alone, it is easy to assume the friendly agent behind the desk is your guide. They aren't. They represent the builder's interests, not yours. The transaction is governed by a dense contract and a sequence of builder-led steps that determine which party is responsible for the home's long-term performance. In real estate, the phrase brand new should never be confused with risk-free. A builder's contract is rarely a standard retail receipt. It functions as an adversarial risk allocation document designed to protect the developer if materials run out, completion gets delayed, or your financing falls through. This chart shows the property tax trap. The estimate for year 1 is low because it is based on a vacant dirt lot. By year 2, that bill shoots up to reflect a completed house, catching buyers off guard. This graph illustrates how temporary mortgage rate buydowns artificially lower your introductory monthly payment. The payment steps up over the first 3 years before locking you into a much higher permanent note rate. On top of that, many new communities are built inside municipal utility districts, or MUDs. These are special taxing zones created to finance neighborhood infrastructure, like sewers and roads, and they quietly add a significant fee to your ongoing monthly overhead. Safely evaluating a builder's incentive package requires calculating the actual long-term monthly cost across all of these taxing districts and interest rates, rather than accepting the artificially lowered payment they advertise. Even the construction itself carries hidden liabilities. Building codes are simply the absolute legal baseline for safety, dictating the bare minimum a builder has to do to avoid breaking the law. Standard builder contracts often grant the developer broad authority to substitute materials, fixtures, or design elements during construction without needing buyer approval. This is a split-screen view of a standard wall. If you look at the X-ray side on the right, you see the complex structural framing, insulation, and wiring. The only time an inspector can catch missing fasteners, bad ductwork, or structural errors is during the pre-drywall stage, right before this gets permanently sealed. This is also the exact window to check for improper flashing or torn weather-resistant barriers. If those outer layers are compromised before the brick or siding goes up, the house becomes an immediate target for hidden water intrusion. You cannot rely on the city inspector to catch these details. Municipal inspectors verify broad code compliance, not detailed workmanship, moisture management, or minor defects. Once that drywall is hung, the opportunity is gone. An unrepresented buyer blindly inherits every undocumented mistake left behind by dozens of fast-moving subcontractors. Environmental liability operates exactly the same way. Relying solely on an official FEMA flood zone map is dangerous. During major Gulf Coast storms, more than half of the flooded homes sat completely outside of designated high-risk areas. Often the threat isn't a nearby river. Highly localized conditions, like poor subdivision grading, undersized drainage swales, or runoff from elevated adjacent developments, can push standing water right into a living room during a normal afternoon rainstorm. To get a clearer picture in places like Harris County, researchers are developing Map Next. This draft flood data uses updated topography and higher rainfall models to expose previously unmapped neighborhood risks. Shift focus to the coast, and the liabilities compound. Coastal homes are frequently elevated high above the base flood level to let storm surges pass underneath safely. Coastal construction also requires a windstorm certificate, known as a WPI-8. This document proves the structure meets strict engineering compliance for hurricane-force winds. Without it, you might not be able to buy insurance for the property. The floor plan is only the surface of the transaction. Beneath it lies the liability of exactly how water and wind move across that specific piece of dirt. An existing resale home comes with a track record. It has already survived actual rainstorms, the soil settling beneath its foundation, and years of seasonal shifts. A brand new build is entirely untested. Because the buyer is effectively the guinea pig, independent representation is necessary to advocate for your interests against a builder's finely tuned sales machine. Get every change order in writing, mandate independent inspections during construction, and aggressively scrutinize the warranty terms before handing over a non-refundable deposit. The builder's pristine model home is designed to sell a lifestyle, but your independent due diligence is the only thing that actually protects the life you are building.